Have you ever felt your dog's gaze so intense it's as if they're peering straight into your soul, communicating volumes without making a sound? Across my travels to working dog communities in 5 continents, I've discovered certain breeds have elevated the canine stare into an art form, using this profound connection to coordinate with humans, predict our behavior, and even manipulate our emotions in ways science is only beginning to understand. Stay with me until the end to learn the surprising psychological reason behind why these stares affect us so powerfully. A phenomenon I witnessed firsthand while documenting traditional herding practices in the remote Highlands of Scotland that completely changed my understanding of the human-canine bond. Before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on more animals, travel, and lifestyle content like this. Let's get started. Hello, fellow travelers. Welcome back to Virtual Travel by Juan. I'm Juan, and today our journey takes us through a different kind of landscape, the fascinating world of canine communication, specifically focusing on breeds that have mastered the art of the stare. During my adventures documenting working dogs across the globe, from the sheepdog trials of New Zealand to the hunting companions of indigenous Arctic communities, I've been struck by how certain breeds seem to possess an almost supernatural ability to communicate through eye contact alone. This isn't just my imagination. Research from the Duke Canine Cognition Center has confirmed that intensive eye contact between humans and dogs triggers the same oxytocin release that bonds parents with their children. It's a biological connection that developed over thousands of years of coevolution, but some breeds have developed this skill to extraordinary levels. Whether you're a current dog owner wondering if your companion falls into this category, or you're considering adding a 4-legged friend to your family, understanding these masters of the stare will provide fascinating insight into canine psychology and how these breeds might fit into your lifestyle and travels. Let's explore the 5 breeds that have elevated the stare to an art form, why they developed this trait, and what it means for those who live and travel with them. Breed number 1, Border Collie, the working stare. Our first stop takes us to the rolling hills of the Scottish borders, where I spent 3 weeks documenting traditional shepherding practices that have remained largely unchanged for centuries. The Border Collie possesses what shepherds call the eye, possibly the most functional and intense stare in the canine world. This isn't just a loving gaze, it's a working tool developed over hundreds of generations specifically for herding livestock. When a Border Collie locks eyes with sheep, it creates a psychological connection that allows the dog to move the animals without physical contact. This hypnotic stare is so powerful that sheep will move away from it instinctively, allowing these relatively small dogs to control animals many times their size. What fascinated me during my time with Scottish Shepherd Ian McTavish was how his Border Collie, Skye, would seamlessly switch between this controlling work stare with the sheep and a completely different information-seeking gaze with Ian. The dog was constantly checking in, reading subtle body language cues and awaiting instructions, often from more than half a mile away. Skye reads my intentions before I've fully formed them myself, Ian told me as we watched the dog work a flock on a steep hillside. Sometimes I think she knows what I want before I do. This dual-purpose stare makes Border Collies unique. They've developed both the ability to control other animals with their gaze and to read humans with remarkable precision through eye contact. If you own a Border Collie, you've likely experienced this intense focus turned on you, especially when you're eating, preparing for a walk, or holding a ball. This isn't just begging or anticipation. It's the manifestation of a genetic trait refined over centuries to facilitate non-verbal communication. During my stay at a working farm in Wales, I met a family whose Border Collie had never worked sheep, but displayed this same intense staring behavior during family board games, watching each player's moves intently and seeming to understand the flow of the game, despite never being taught the rules. This ability to observe, process, and communicate through gaze alone makes Border Collies true masters of the stare. Breed number 2, Australian Shepherd, the Anticipatory Stare. Our journey continues to the working ranches of Montana, where I spent time with Australian Shepherds, another herding breed with a distinctive staring style. While closely related to Border Collies, Aussies have developed what I call an anticipatory stare. Rather than primarily using their gaze to control livestock, these dogs excel at watching their human partners and predicting what's needed next. Ranch owner Melissa Jenkins demonstrated this with her Aussie, Bandit, during cattle work. He's always scanning between me and the cattle, figuring out what's about to happen before I signal, she explained. The Australian Shepherd's stare is slightly less intense than the Border Collies, but more broadly focused. They're taking in the entire situation, processing multiple variables, and preparing for what might be needed next. During my week at the ranch, I noticed how Bandit would watch family members' routines and position himself strategically based on subtle cues that indicated their next moves. When Melissa's husband reached for his keys in a slightly different way than usual, Bandit immediately ran to the farm truck rather than the family car, correctly anticipating a change in routine before any verbal communication occurred. This predictive staring behavior makes Australian Shepherds exceptional working partners, but can sometimes unnerve people unfamiliar with the breed. If you own an Australian Shepherd, you've likely noticed how they seem to anticipate your routine, staring at you just before your alarm goes off in the morning, or bringing you your walking shoes before you've consciously decided to go for a walk. This isn't coincidence, it's their anticipatory stare at work. Breed number 3, Siberian Husky, the Communicative Stare. Our next destination takes us to the frigid landscapes of northern Canada, where I joined a traditional dog sledding expedition with Siberian Huskies. Huskies have developed what I call the communicative stare, an expressive, often dramatic gaze that's part of their broader vocal communication style. Unlike the working stares of herding breeds, the Husky's gaze is all about expressing their needs, opinions, and occasionally, their defiance. A Husky never just looks at you, they're always telling you something with those eyes, explained Inuit musher Amagwalik, as his lead dog fixed us with an unmistakably impatient stare during our preparations for a day's journey. Right now, Nuka is saying we're taking too long and the weather is perfect for running. What makes the Husky's stare unique is how it works in concert with their vocalizations and body language. These dogs were bred to make independent decisions when sledding in dangerous conditions, sometimes overriding their humans' commands if they sense danger. This created a breed that communicates its intentions rather than simply awaiting instructions. During our expedition, I witnessed how the lead dogs would make sustained eye contact with their musher before difficult terrain, seemingly confirming the chosen path or suggesting alternatives. This wasn't submission or dominance, it was conversation. The Siberian Husky's stare often incorporates what owners affectionately call side-eye, a slightly sideways glance that can convey judgment, skepticism, or amusement. This distinctive look has made Huskies popular in internet memes, but it's actually a sophisticated communication tool developed through centuries of partnership in life-or-death conditions. If you own a Husky, you're certainly familiar with their opinionated stares, especially when they disagree with your decisions about walks, dinner time, or when it's appropriate to howl. Their gaze doesn't just acknowledge your authority, it's initiating a negotiation. Our breed number 4, German Shepherd, the Vigilant Stare. Our journey now takes us to a police canine training facility in Germany, where I spent time documenting the work of German Shepherds, masters of what I call the Vigilant Stare. German Shepherds were developed as all-purpose working dogs, but their stare has been refined through generations of protection and police work. Their gaze is observational, analytical, and constantly assessing potential threats or changes in their environment. A good German Shepherd doesn't miss anything, Canine Trainer Officer Muller told me as we watched his partner Axel survey a training scenario. They're not just looking at what's happening now, they're watching for what might happen next. What distinguishes the German Shepherd stare is its scanning quality. While other breeds might fix on a single target, German Shepherds systematically observe their surroundings while periodically checking back with their handlers. This creates a characteristic pattern of alert observation followed by brief, information-rich eye contact. During a demonstration of Axel's capabilities, I was struck by how the dog maintained awareness of 7 different people in a complex training scenario, his eyes moving methodically between potential threats while regularly reconnecting with Officer Mueller for guidance or to share information. This vigilant stare has made German Shepherds invaluable in police and military work, but it also manifests in family pets. German Shepherd owners often report their dogs watching over family activities with the same attentive gaze, particularly monitoring children or unfamiliar visitors. While visiting a family with a retired police German Shepherd in Bavaria, I observed how their dog, Rolf, maintained his professional vigilance even in retirement. During an afternoon in their garden, Rolf positioned himself to watch both the family children and the street access simultaneously, his eyes constantly moving between points of interest while remaining relaxed in his overall demeanor. If you own a German Shepherd, you've likely noticed this watchful quality, a gaze that seems to take in everything without anxiety, but with complete awareness. This isn't hypervigilance or fearfulness. It's a breed characteristic developed for working roles that required both independence and partnership. Our final destination brings us to the Assistance Dog Training Centers of California, where I discovered how Labrador Retrievers have mastered what I call the connected stare. While Labs aren't typically known for intense staring behavior like Border Collies, they've developed a different quality of gaze, one focused on emotional connection and responsiveness rather than control or vigilance. Labs excel at reading micro-expressions in human faces, explained Diana Rodriguez, head trainer at Pacific Assistance Dogs. Their stare isn't about intensity, it's about empathy and gathering emotional information. What makes the Labrador's stare special is its gentle attentiveness combined with exceptional sensitivity to human emotional states. These dogs make sustained, comfortable eye contact without the intensity that can feel overwhelming from other breeds. During my observation of therapy Labradors working with trauma patients, I watched as a yellow lab named Sunny maintained soft eye contact with a distressed teenager, adjusting his proximity and body language in perfect synchronization with subtle changes in the patient's emotional state, all coordinated through their visual connection. This connected stare makes labs ideal for therapeutic roles and family environments. They're watching not to control or protect, but to understand and respond to their humans' needs. While staying with a family whose child has autism, I observed their black lab, Charlie, using this connected stare to monitor the child's emotional regulation throughout the day. Before meltdowns occurred, Charlie would make sustained eye contact with the child's mother, then look toward the child, effectively alerting her to emotional changes she hadn't yet noticed. If you own a Labrador Retriever, you've likely experienced their checking-in gaze, brief moments of eye contact that seem to ask, "Are you okay?" or "What are we doing next?" This isn't neediness, it's their way of maintaining emotional connection and gathering information about your state of mind. Now for the fascinating scientific discovery I promised at the beginning, the psychological reason these stares affect us so powerfully. During my visit to Dr. Miho Nagasawa's laboratory at Azabu University in Japan, I learned about her groundbreaking research into the oxytocin feedback loop between humans and dogs. Her studies revealed that when dogs and humans make eye contact, both species experience a surge in oxytocin, the same hormone released between parents and infants that facilitates bonding. This creates a mutually reinforcing cycle. The dog stares, the human's oxytocin increases, making the human more receptive to the dog, which increases the dog's oxytocin, intensifying the bond further. What's remarkable is that this interspecies oxytocin connection doesn't occur between humans and wolves, even hand-raised ones. This suggests that during domestication, dogs hijacked our parental bonding pathways, essentially evolving to trigger the same neurochemical responses we have toward our children. The breeds we've discussed today have, through selective breeding for different working purposes, refined this natural canine ability to extraordinary levels, each developing a distinctive staring style that enhanced their particular working relationship with humans. These breeds aren't just looking at you, Dr. Nagasawa explained. They're activating specific neurological pathways that facilitate cooperation and bonding in ways we're only beginning to understand scientifically. So, fellow travelers, as we conclude our journey through the world of canine gaze behavior, I hope you've gained new appreciation for that penetrating stare your dog gives you. Whether it's a Border Collie's focused intensity, a Husky's expressive demands, or a Labrador's empathetic connection. The next time your dog holds your gaze, remember you're experiencing the result of thousands of years of coevolution, a silent language developed between our species that speaks volumes without words. Next week, we'll explore the world's most dog-friendly ancient ruins where you can travel with your four-legged companion. Until then, I'd love to hear in the comments which type of canine stare you've experienced with your own dogs. Thanks for joining Virtual Travel by Juan today, where we explore both the distant horizons and the eyes watching us as we journey together.